Welcome to another episode in our summer series on the history behind the hymns. And today, we're exploring a hymn from the year 1841. Today, we're looking at the remarkable missionary story behind a song that has been sung at altar calls around the world for many years. This is a very special story, and I think you're going to love it. And as we wrap up, I have a treat for you. My daughters Emily and Jocelyn will sing today. Welcome to Church History. I'm your host, Laura Siemens. This is our summer season. I'm telling the stories of our great hymns. This podcast tells the story of the church in chronological order. We started with the story of Jesus, and we have traveled through history into the 1800s. For this summer, we're going to tell the story of the church in chronological order through our great hymns. So, enjoy this summer season. Welcome back to Church History. I'm your host, Laura Siemens. Today, you're going to hear an episode I did last summer. I hope you enjoyed this episode and the story of one of my favorite songs. God has used this song many times to convict me personally. I hope you enjoy. In the mid-1800s, Edward VII is King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, Ireland, and the Emperor of India. A great revival was sweeping across Wales, and there was a call for missionaries to spread the love of Jesus Christ into the land of India. The revival was alive in America also. In 1817, James Moore was President of the United States, and 4 men were meeting to put together a plan to spread the gospel. Adoniram Judson was one of them, and 3 of his friends. They started a group called the American Baptist Missions. By the mid-1800s, the American Baptist Missions reached India. The missionaries began praying for a group in an area called Assam. The tribes here were very primitive. The tribes fought each other and were cruel and harsh. One of the customs was to cut off the head of the people they conquered and take the head as a trophy. And it's where we get the term headhunter from. When one missionary made it into one of the villages to share the gospel of Jesus Christ, the tribe was not having it. They ran the missionary out of the village. However, one man wanted to hear more about what the missionary had to say and found him. The man was so happy to hear about the love of Jesus Christ and that he could have his sins forgiven, he chose right there to follow Jesus. His wife and his young sons also heard the story of Jesus and chose to follow. The missionary promised he would return. The chief of the tribe heard that the man had gone to see the missionary, and he called the man, his wife, and his sons into the center of the village. He told the man to say that he was not a follower of Jesus. The man stood looking at the chief and said just one sentence. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. The chief ordered the sons to be brought to him. He aimed the arrow at his boys. He demanded again that the man say he was not a follower of Jesus. The man said, though none go with me, still I will follow. No turning back. The chief killed his sons and then had his wife brought forward. Again, the man was told to say he was not a follower of Jesus. The man replied, my cross I will carry until I see Jesus. No turning back. The chief then killed his wife. The chief then pointed an arrow at the man. Say you are not a follower of this Jesus. The man looked down at the bodies of his boys and his wife. He then looked at the chief and said, the world is behind me. The cross is before me. No turning back. The chief shot the man. The sons, the wife, and the man, all laying with arrows in their bodies. The tribe stood around the bodies of the family, and the chief standing in the middle of the bodies. Then the chief said, why would a man let his family die and stand and let himself die for a man who lived far away thousands of years ago? I wish that I could taste this faith. What kind of a power must this faith have? There was silence for a while as the chief was standing there, thinking, trying to figure out what had just happened. Suddenly the chief cried out, "I too am a follower of this Jesus." When the missionary returned, he was shocked to see the whole tribe ready and willing to hear the gospel, and he was saddened to hear of the death of the family he had just met. That day, the entire village became followers of Jesus Christ. When the missionary heard the whole story of the man who died, his words were turned into a song. It's the simplest of songs, 4 verses, and each verse is just one sentence. Yet, for over 150 years, this song has been sung at altars, camps, revival services, churches. There is no way to know how many people have made the choice to follow Jesus while listening to this simple song. One man who stood and refused to back down has changed the world. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back.
I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back. No turning back. Go with me, still I will follow. Come and go with me, still I will follow. Come with me, still I will follow. No turning back. No turning back.
Thank you for listening to today's episode on the history of the hymns. We will be returning to our regular church history podcast in September. If you want to hear more podcasts, check out my website, lauraleesiemens.com. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and share these stories with your friends. We'll see you next week.